Hey everyone, it's technology expert Burton Kelso here with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're talking about how to increase or how to make your productivity better in Windows using keyboard shortcuts. In this day of smartphones and tablets, people don't think about Windows shortcuts and how they can make life a lot easier. But if you are a laptop or desktop warrior, you understand the importance of making sure that you have keyboard shortcuts in order to help you stay a little bit more productive in your day-to-day work. Now, keep in mind, even with the mouse, Windows and Macintosh for that matter can be a lot easy to navigate. But if you've got keyboard shortcuts, things are going to be a lot better for you and you're going to be a little bit more productive. Now, with every video, I always ask, make sure you comment, like, and share if you want to continue to see videos like this that are going to help you as a non-tech user and other people in your life get more from the technology that they use day to day. All right, so I've broken down keyboard shortcuts into three different categories as to how they are going to make your life a lot easier. Now, the first step would be the best Windows shortcuts that you would use to navigate Windows. Now, navigating Windows, like I said, is easier with the mouse, but usually if you're on a laptop, sometimes getting to those keys can, or getting to that trackpad on your laptop can be a challenge. So sometimes these keyboard shortcuts are going to work for you. Now, to make life a lot simpler for us, we are going to bring up, well, first we're going to show the desktop, and we're going to bring up the useful tool that I recommend would be the Windows onboard keyboard. Let me switch to the desktop, see if I can remember how to do this. So all we're going to do is go to search and type in the words on-screen keyboard. Once we click that up, it'll bring up a little miniature keyboard that you can kind of get an idea of what's going on with the keys. Now, it doesn't show everything that I type, but I can use my mouse and click something, or if I were to use the Windows key or the Control key, then it definitely will give me, or at least alert you to what keyboard shortcut that I'm talking about when I say Windows key, Control, or Alt. All the rest of them are, what's the word that I'm looking for, pretty self-explanatory. Now let's start with our list of keyboard shortcuts that will help you navigate Windows. Some of these I'm going to actually show and do. Some of them I'm just going to show because it'll log me out of the computer. So for starters, let's get back to our desktop. To navigate Windows, one of the things that you can do to lock up your computer or your account is to hit the Windows key, which is this down here, and then the L key, and that will lock up your user account. Now this can be handy in an instance when you are trying to walk away from your computer and you just want to lock up your account so no one can get into it. So again, it's the Windows key, which is highlighted. Let me move that keyboard up because I didn't want to hit just the Windows key. It's the Windows key and then the L key, and that will lock up your account. And of course, if I keep hitting the Windows key, that's going to do some stuff. Now, if you want to open up Windows File Explorer to navigate files, all you need to do is to hit the Windows key and then the E key, and it will open up Windows File Explorer. It did it on my secondary screen, but there is Windows File Explorer. Show that again. Let me close that out. The Windows key and then the E key opens up Windows File Explorer, and then you can go and navigate files from there. Next, if you want to get to Windows settings, it's a simple matter of hitting the Windows key and then hitting the I key, and that'll actually open up settings for your computer. Now, you have to forgive me. I've got triple monitors on my computer, So some of these screens will actually appear on my secondary monitor. I'm gonna do it again. So Windows key and then the I key will actually bring up, if I get rid of that, the settings for Windows, and then from there, any settings that I want to change in Windows, I can go in and make that happen. Now, if I want to see something with the Windows on-screen keyboard, it's just a matter of minimizing the on-screen keyboard, and then I can get to the options that I want. Now we're going to close out settings, going to bring up our Windows on-screen keyboard, and then the next one we want to do is the run dialog box to run dialogs. So if we want to do that, it's the Windows key and then R, and what that will do, other than the Windows key, will bring up the run dialog. And that is handy if I want to look for a program to run. I can browse. Sometimes when you're trying to troubleshoot on a computer, it will ask you to bring up the run dialog. So if you hit the Windows key and the R key, it will definitely bring up the Windows dialog. Next, let's say we have a lot of items on our desktop computer and we want to just switch to the plain desktop. To do that is pretty simple. It would be the Windows key and then the D key, and it will, other than the on-screen keyboard, clear out all of the items on my computer. So if I've got browsers, I've got other stuff going on, the Windows key and the D key will definitely bring up options where I can just shut everything down and get back to my desktop. One last thing that we want to do as far as Windows is concerned, as far as keys are concerned, if we want to permanently delete a file, let's go ahead and open up File Explorer. Let's go to Documents and find a document that I want to permanently get rid of. There is, let's see here. There's a temporary file that I want to get rid of. Now, bringing up the Windows on-screen keyboard, if I want to permanently delete this file, what I would need to do is hold the Shift key, and then once I hold the Shift key, I can hit delete, wherever the heck that is. There we go. And it will permanently delete this file and skip the recycle bin. As you can see, it's going to ask if I want to permanently delete this temp file. I say yes, and rather than going into the recycle bin, it actually goes away permanently. So those are some keys that you can utilize in order to help you get more from the Windows operating system. Now, what about some of the best keyboard shortcuts for your keyboard? Now, Windows has keyboard shortcuts that are just pretty darn awesome. So let's take a look at some of those Windows shortcuts that are best to use on your keyboard. Now, what I want to do, let me get out and get to our desktop. Bring up the Windows on-screen keyboard. Give me a second, and we will talk about some of those keys that are best just to utilize Windows. Okay, so here we are. Let's open up a Word document because a lot of these are dealing with editing documents. So if I want to copy, let's say we want to copy selected item. So if I want to copy this item in this document, let's see how we're going to do in Word. You can just do the Control and then C. What that should do is copy all of the content. Now if I arrow down, make sure that you guys are seeing the screen, and I want to paste that content, I can hit Control and then V, and it'll paste that content. Some people think that it's Control Paste, but that's not always the case. Now, if I want to go through and undo a previous action, I can hit Control Z, and it will remove that item that I just copied over. Another good control option to use in any program is the Control O option. Now, if I hit Control O, then it brings up the open dialog in any program, and then I can open up any new document within Word, Excel, or any other program. I also, if I'm in a program, I can hit the Control P and it brings up the print dialog. Now, the good thing about the print dialog, it will allow me to print to PDF, or I can print to a standard printer as well. If I want to enter full screen mode on Word, I can hit the F11 key, which you don't see it on the Windows on-screen keyboard, but under most circumstances, if you're in a web browser or in some programs, you can hit F11 and it'll bring up a full screen mode. And then finally, as far as keyboard shortcuts in a program, you can hit, what's a good option to do? One of the things that I always do as far as saving stuff, I do old school and I go to File and I go to Save. But with Windows keyboard shortcuts, you can actually hit Control S. It'll bring up the save dialog and you can change the location, and it will help you quickly navigate and get to where you need to go as far as saving documents are concerned. There are a lot of keyboard shortcuts that you could use, and you could spend hours trying to navigate some of these computer shortcuts, but they're good to know to kind of help you quickly get to items in Windows and items if you're trying to edit documents or spreadsheets or other things. One last thing that I wanted to hit upon is, let's talk about the best Windows shortcuts for text manipulation. If you're wanting to enhance a text or maximize, underline, there are some quick shortcuts that I can definitely show you in order to make that happen. So let me get back to the main screen. We'll go back through those shortcuts and let's see how that's going to work. All right, now we're back. I want to bring up our on-screen keyboard so that you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. And then let's go to text manipulation as far as text is concerned. All right, making sure let's see if you can see the desktop, and you can. Let's bring up our document that we were dealing with and talk about some keyboard shortcuts. So now, you've got text that's highlighted. You can hit Control B and it'll highlight that text. If you want to undo that, remember it's Control Z to get rid of that. If you want to insert a hyperlink within a document, it's Control and then the K, and it'll allow you to bring a hyperlink or a link to a website in order to insert in your document. Also, Control U will help you do underlines. So there we go. Remember Control Z to get rid of that if you want to take that off. Also too, you can do the Control H for the find and replace tool. See if that's going to work, and it did. It brought up Word, find what word, and then you can replace with. So Control H will do that. And then last but not least, let's highlight, or let's get the cursor and do a Control Delete. And what Control Delete does is that it will delete the word to the right of the cursor. There you go. So if you wanted to delete a whole word or a sentence, Control Delete, and it'll delete it out of there. And of course, remember, to undo whatever you did, it's Control Z, and it'll take things back to normal. So hopefully this has given you an idea how you can utilize some of those keyboard shortcuts in Windows. I'm glad I had the Windows 11 on-screen keyboard to assist with that. I hope that was a good visual for you. But So if you're wanting to supercharge your computer productivity, Windows keyboard shortcuts are a great way to help make that happen. So if you've got comments or questions about keyboard shortcuts or even the Windows on-screen keyboard, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Now, the goal with all these videos is to help open you up to a whole new world of ideas and experiences using the technology you use in your day-to-day life. I love technology. I've read all the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology fun, safe, and easy to use for everyone. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile, and thanks for watching.